What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a follow-on video to my previous one where I presented actionable methods and tools that you can use to get good at speaking in a language. Now, I made that video because I've noticed that there's a lot of people who eventually, after a lot of time and effort, they get good at understanding the language, maybe reading the language, and then they can kind of speak really basically, slowly, and poorly in a language, and no matter how much they engage in conversations with natives, whatnot, they never get good at speaking fluently and fast in the language. And I believe the reason is because they literally just have not put in the time practicing the different domains that they want to be able to discuss. A lot of people say that the best way to speak a language is to go out there and speak with natives. No, that is not the best way to do it, at least not from my experience. And the reason being is because when you go interact with natives, what are you going to do? You're going to pull on what you already know. You may pick up one or two words in the moment that actually do stick, but overall, you're going to pull on what you already know, and you're not going to add much to your knowledge base. If you actually want to get good at speaking, you need to do this in a measured approach, and you need to actually focus in on what you want to learn how to say and study it, practice it, study it, practice it, study it, practice it. It's like a dance, okay? You don't just do the dance once and then move on. You try it, then you go back, you review what you've done. Okay, now let's go again. Let's try work on this a little bit of that and stuff like that. And I presented this stuff in my video, and it's what I'm doing with Chinese. And some of the comments were around, how the fuck are you so fast spoken with Chinese, yet you're not fluent? Because, I tell everyone I'm not fluent. It's because I've done exactly what I showed you guys in that video. I have hyper-focused in on speaking about specific topics, getting good at it, and then when I need to speak about those topics, I don't need to think about them because my brain's already exercised this constantly. It's automated this process, okay? Now, one of the concerns I got was, Evildea, isn't there a big issue with your system in the fact that you're currently using large language models and therefore you're going to sound like a robot or unnatural? First up, large language models, I would say for most languages, are pretty damn good so far. Yes, there are issues. Yes, it will hallucinate words every now and then, but you can easily solve those problems by, I don't know, maybe looking up new words that it proposes and putting them into context and seeing if actual people use those by just simply going to Google and searching parts or the entire chunks of those sentences. So you just grab a piece, you search it, and if it looks like there's a ton of hits, you're probably onto something there. But at the end of the day, guys, you got to remember, learning a language takes a very long time. You can't just pursue perfection at the cost of progression. You need to push through that. Yes, you will learn bad shit. You're going to learn bad shit from actual teachers. You're going to learn bad shit from just going onto YouTube. You know what also going to happen is you're going to go sentence mine real people on YouTube who come from one region, use those words with people from another region, and they won't understand you. Because the funny thing is, regionally they could be different and you didn't even know that, okay? So this is the thing. You can try wait until the perfect moment, until you've got all the sentences you need, or you've found the perfect native sentence. There's websites to search for, specific sentences about certain topics from natives. You can go use all those and stuff. But it's not going to help that much at the end of the day. It's just another thing to slow you down as you look for that perfect sentence. Push through, practice using the language. If you start sounding unnatural in one point or another, someone will point it out, and then you can focus in on that part and improve it. The amount of times that I basically went back and rewrote my understanding of Esperanto over the years as I improved on different bits and pieces of the language, it's countless. And it's the same with any language, okay? Here's the problem. When you start speaking a language, I don't care who you are, how well you understand the language, the first time you start speaking that language, you will accidentally, inadvertently, start using your English part of your brain to some degree. I've even seen this on videos from ALG users. These are people who've listened to, Spanish or whatever for 2,000 hours, and I've seen in the comments section native Spanish speakers saying, "You sound really great, although you sound like you're using an English structure there." These are people who waited thousands of hours before they start speaking, and yet they still are accidentally using English structures here and there. So if your concern isn't a language model is going to propose something that's a little bit too English-like, don't worry about it. it's gonna happen anyway. It doesn't matter what you do. You could use natives, you could use actual sentences. There's no point stressing over these minor details. Make progression. Get to the point where you can get everything you want to say out, then go back and iron out all those little bumps and crinkles that you've made along the way. Now, I know there's other people who will say, oh, but isn't that going to result in like permanent fossilization? Realistically, I think when it comes to language, I've found for myself that you are able to change the way you speak and you do things over time without too many issues. You only really have to worry about this when it comes to actually the pronunciation of a language. But even then, you can completely change your pronunciation of a language even after years of speaking it. I've actually done it. Go watch my original Esperanto videos, the oldest video on my channel. I sound like an American English speaker when speaking Esperanto because I didn't have anyone around who could teach me how to actually pronounce the language. And if you compare that to how I speak now, it's two totally different people. I sound different, obviously I speak different. You will evolve as your understanding of the language grows, okay? So don't become too concerned about these things. Now, for those who are asking, how can I speak so fluently in Chinese when I say I'm not fluent? It's because I practiced exactly what I preach in that video. Practice speaking about specific domain topics, okay? Get in there, really focus in on it. Now, also, I want to add, because some people are saying, isn't this language islands or domains as the Refold people call it, or microfluency that I say? There's probably 100 words for this. Just understand the concept. We don't really care about the individual words, the concept here. Focus on a topic. However you want to manage or call it, focus in on it and try speak about it. When you find holes, go back, research how to fill those holes, and then go again and keep going until you either get sick of it or you get good enough at that topic you can move to something else. Now, I'm going to say this is not exactly like Language Islands, because Language Islands is you basically get a bunch of set sentences to help you talk about a specific topic, then you move on. This is not that. This is getting good at a topic, okay? Finding all the holes in it. Because the first time you speak about something will not be the same as the second time, the third time, the fourth time, or even the 10th time. But by the 20th time speaking about it, you're going to pretty much cover all the different directions by which you would hit it. So that is the best way to get really fluent at speaking about a specific topic. And then you repeat that for everything else, okay? You do that for every other little hobby or interest or whatever use piece. And over time, the more you do, the more you're going to cross-pollinate between all these different areas, and it's going to help. But at the end of the day, stop stressing about perfection, guys. If you're going to sit there and worry about, oh, am I doing this perfectly correctly? Am I pronouncing things correctly? Am I saying, the correct structure? Or is this a little bit English-like? You will fail. You will not progress in your language journey. You will not get to whatever your end goal is, okay? Language is, unfortunately, like art. Okay? In a lot of ways, it's like art. If you just sat there and said, I ain't gonna draw a face until I perfectly know how to draw a face, you ain't ever gonna draw a face. You better start scratching on that paper some pretty messed up looking faces and keep scratching them, and eventually you'll get there and that face will get better and better. That's going to be you with language. The more you mess up, the more you practice, the better you get, assuming you actually reflect upon what you've done, okay? So this is the difference. It's exactly the same as art. You can draw a face 100 times and never get good at it. But if you look at back what you've done and review, okay, my eyes look screwed up. How should I draw eyes? Let's go look up some eyes. Okay, let's try do this again. It's the same with language. Okay, well, I was able to say all this, but I really struggled talking about this. Okay, let's find out from a language model how to do that. Now, you can go to a YouTube video and you could sentence mine. For those who don't know what sentence mining is, it's where you look for someone speaking about a topic and you just copy paste their sentences, literally the way they say them, and you practice those. But the problem is, that is their way of speaking. That isn't your way of speaking. That's not your line of thoughts or anything like that. Now, I know you might be thinking, yeah, but I want to think like them. I want to think in their language. It isn't going to happen by just copying other people, okay? You need to get your thoughts out first. And then, even if they sound a little bit English-like or a little bit messed up here and there, as long as you get them out, you find out where those issues are, you can then work on basically changing your thoughts to fit the pattern of the language. Okay? So, Just make sure no matter what you're doing is you're actually trying to move forward. Don't stress about the details. The amount of people in my comment section stressing about the details was actually a little bit shocking for my channel, you know, because like I'm generally the type of guy where it's like, you just gotta grind, you just gotta push through. So it's the same thing with a language, guys. Don't stress about the little details. Get the whole language in place, then you can come back and get all that little nitty gritty shit and make it look good, okay? Cool. That's pretty much it. I'll see you all in the next video.